As the world grapples with unprecedented impact of COVID-19 pandemic, economies are setting new norms for conduct of business and geopolitics alike, leading to a fast emerging new world order. The senior leader is joining us to share his view as how technologies are helping PSUs to fight against COVID-19, and he will also explain some of the technology used by AWS that can be used by PSUs to achieve their digital transformation agenda. So join me in inviting Manav Sehgal, Head of Digital Innovation and National Program Worldwide Public Sector, Amazon Internet Service Private Limited, on this virtual platform.
Hi, my name is Manav Sehgal. I am Head of Digital Innovation for AWS Public Sector Business in India and South Asia. Today, I'll talk about pace of innovation and really within the next 20 minutes, try to answer two questions, which is, what are some of the innovation techniques that Amazon uses to innovate their own business? And how could you, as a customer of Amazon or AWS, accelerate your digital initiatives using some of these innovation techniques? So to start with, we are a customer-centric organization. And a number of our customers come to us asking us, you've been doing this business for 25 years, and you've been documenting this business in the form of shareholder letters that your founder writes every year to the shareholders, talking about how the business is growing, the strategy, and the thinking behind the innovation that Amazon has been doing for the last 25 years. And you have a series of best practices that are enabling your organization to scale. Can you help us implement that or some of that in our organization so that we can invent and innovate like Amazon? So we start with these four principles, which make up Amazon's culture as a day one culture. And day one, you can think of it as a startup-like culture, just like a startup starts on day one and thinks. That's how we try to do every day, every year for the last 25 years. So true customer obsession is quite central to it. Resisting proxies, which basically means rather than do a lot of analysis and do a whole bunch of data-driven aspects, we also look at experience, intuition, and curiosity that plays into our decision-making process. But at the same time, we also index high on high-velocity decision-making, which means we don't have to wait for 100% of the data to be available in order to make decisions. And of course, we embrace external trends in terms of the technologies, in terms of what's happening within our customers' organization. So where does that lead us? That leads us to this innovation curve where since last 25 years, you've seen us invent not just new lines of products, but new lines of businesses with hundreds of millions of customers all over the world. And each of these innovations, many of them have turned into multi-billion-dollar businesses. So if you go through the imagery from left to right, top to bottom, we have Kindle, which has reimagined the way books are read. Our objective is to get a book in the hands of a reader within 60 seconds of their wanting to have a book to read. There is Alexa Echo product range, which ranges from devices that you can place in your car or in your home. And that's reinventing the way we interact with computers. And more recently, in 2019, we announced our invention called AWS Ground Station, which allows, with the convenience of your browser, for you to actually, as a customer of AWS, literally control satellites in the Earth's upper atmosphere or beyond. And of course, most recently, handling edge computing, we have a brick-sized device which can house AWS compute and terabytes of storage, and that you can carry on your backpack. So the reason that customers would come to us and say, hey, we would like to learn more from Amazon and see if we can apply some of these innovation techniques within our own digital offerings is also because a number of our customers are building on top of these innovations. So when it comes to a specific context, which is pandemic response, and handling the new normal, we look at Kindle and higher education institutions who are now faced with virtual learning as the de facto mechanism of imparting teaching. So they're converting their physical books to digital books or ebooks and using Kindle. Digital workplace is now complete with Alexa voice-based interfacing, calendaring being done through Alexa or Echo products. Our customers are storing petabyte scale, planetary scale data on our data exchanges or data marketplaces. Remote access is possible using Snowcone. Satellite communication, one of the use cases is disaster response, where you're able to immediately pinpoint where exactly is the location of the disaster and what action need to be taken. And then we have virtual reality technology, which allows for virtual assistants. So there are a number of use cases where customers are building on top of Amazon innovations to deliver accelerated outcomes. But going back to that, one of those innovations, and I wanted to sort of dive deep into that and sort of talk about how not only are we innovating the front end application that you see within those businesses, like for instance, Amazon.com, if you're searching for a movie, like let's say Star Wars, you get recommendations at the bottom that customers who watched this movie also watched these movies. Imagine we're going through hundreds of millions of SKUs of products being fulfilled by these large fulfillment centers that you see in the middle. And at the same time, we're matching the interests of hundreds of millions of users of Amazon.com. Behind the scenes, not just on the front end, not just on the fulfillment side, but also the data center that's running this entire business, a number of these capabilities are making their way into AWS Cloud as first-class services, which other customers, startups, enterprises, public sector are using to innovate their own organization. So marketplace technology is available, recommendation technology is available for customers to use with just a few lines of code. Demand forecasting technology that we use to forecast our own demand in terms of stocking the fulfillment centers is now available as a simple AI service where you can just provide inputs and get the resultant outputs without having to implement machine learning pipelines. And of course, the data centers that helped us scale Amazon to a global business, a lot of that technology has made its way into AWS Cloud. So in summary, the way our founder looks at this is we innovate because we want to empower our customers so that they can unleash their creativity. So let me walk through a few examples of how Amazon innovates and what's that process, what's that mechanism that we use to innovate. We always work backwards from our customers, right? So rather than work forward in terms of what technology will solve what problem, we work backwards from what's the customer challenge. So if you see this imagery on and read it from left to right, top to bottom, the first image is a beautiful local market in the Himalayan range. The region is Leh, surrounded by mountainous region. But to that beauty, you can also add inconvenience because logistics, supply chain is very difficult. So the people who live there find it very difficult to find latest products or the inventory is not replenished very quickly. So that was the customer challenge. How do you get latest products that they want to access to that remote location? We came up with a solution which was localized. So this is a fulfillment or a sorting center which doesn't look like any other that you've typically seen in Amazon, which is very large warehouses like you saw in the previous slides. And then we looked at, what's the solution in terms of getting the delivery boy to the customer. So bikes which can navigate mountain terrains. And even the delivery person has to be fit enough to walk maybe hundreds or if not thousands of steps where even bikes can't reach. The end objective is the same, customer delight. So here's a monk receiving an Amazon package that they ordered. But the context or the challenge that the customer is facing and the kind of customer we're working with changes the solution. Here's another example, same business, Amazon.com, but because the customer is more tech savvy, they're living in this remote farmhouse where you can't even send a biker or a van for delivery. They order this Amazon Fire TV product online, and they're interested in immediate delivery. Within half an hour or within 1 hour, they want their product, right? As you can see, the fulfillment center here is a bit more automated. There are devices which are scanning the products. The product is then packaged and actually delivered via a drone. So we've innovated the delivery mechanism itself from bike to drone. And because we've innovated the delivery mechanism, we've also brought in workflows and tools to actually train some of our staff as drone operators. So they're operating drones in a secured manner so that the drone can deliver those goods right at the doorstep of the customer. The end objective is same, customer delight. Of course, because the context changed and the type of customer changed, the entire solution changed. So that's what working backwards is all about. And the way we share this process with our customers is with 3 simple steps. We work with them in writing a future press release where we define the challenge, the solution, a future quote from the customer. How will they feel when they receive the solution? What will the experience look like? What's the call to action? We write a frequently asked question from the perspective of the end customer, from the perspective of the problem statement, the benefits, the solution. And we also do some visual storyboarding together with them. And what that does is it gives very high quality requirements and clarifies the ideas before even we start writing first line of code to deliver that solution. So that in essence is the working backwards mechanism which we share with our customers. And effectively, this quotation from our founder sort of summarizes why we do this. It's all about customer delight and working backwards from that. So how does this translate into pace of innovation at Amazon? Amazon is a high velocity organization. And what do I mean by high velocity? So the website that you saw, the supply chain that you saw, the fulfillment center that you saw earlier, or the data centers that you saw, in a typical year, this is 2019 data, we do 194 million changes to our entire technology stack. That's 6 changes per second throughout the year, deployed live without any significant downtime for our end customers. Hundreds of millions of users using Amazon, and we're doing 6 changes live to that website, to the fulfillment center, to the data center, again, working backwards from the requirements of our customers. And we are able to do this on the basis of organizing better as thousands of teams, using microservices-based architecture, employing operational excellence in terms of continuous delivery, and being able to handle multiple environments. So what does this mean for you? All of this best practice is translating into AWS Cloud. So when you look at AWS Cloud and the services it offers services for improving your developers' efficiency, DevOps capabilities, what you see over here. It offers services for you to deliver business functionality, Internet of Things. It offers services for you to speed up your artificial intelligence workloads, your machine learning pipeline, and of course, ensure security and compliance. So there are a number of services within AWS Cloud which focus on operational excellence or technology operations excellence. And then there are end user products or services which are available, which you can straight just fire up a browser and start using. So QuickSight for analytics and Sumerian for augmented reality, virtual reality, which you can use. And here are a few examples of how some of our customers in energy and utilities are benefiting from this space of innovation and accelerating their own outcomes. So whether it is innovation beyond IT for BP or moving all of their apps into the cloud for GE Oil and Gas, or delivering new environments at least 6 times faster than on-premise data center for Sea Oil, or just providing that flexibility, scalability, and functionality for implementing relatively complex security solutions. Then looking at how you could respond to something like post-pandemic world where everything is getting virtual and digital. How do you enable new users to access your legacy applications or your enterprise applications with the convenience of their browser using Amazon AppStream technology, amongst others? And then, of course, executing projects faster. So to summarize, one call to action that I have for you is to talk to us about what we recently launched in India is the AWS Cloud Innovation Center. think of this as a place where you can submit your ideas, and once they're approved by the steering group, which is a steering group of AWS senior management and Government of India, we will apply AWS Cloud credits, make AWS practitioners and experts available to solve some of the challenges that you want to solve through the center or experiment through the center, apply pace of innovation of AWS Cloud in AI, ML, robotics, drones, edge computing, data lake, AR, VR. All we need from you is to define an outcome for societal good. It could be for Atmanirbhar Bharat, it could be for Digital India, for sustainability, for renewable energy, whatever is central or core to your mission, and help us with some data that you might have within your organization, which you know better. We will obviously contribute to that data through the space of innovation. And we will run this working backwards mechanism, which I spoke about, in order for you to very quickly move from defining the challenge that we're trying to solve for your end customers, prototyping the solution with help from academia, research, Make in India startups, and delivering those outcomes very rapidly. Typical engagement in the Cloud Innovation Center runs in weeks and not months and years. So with that, I thank you for your time and look forward to engaging with you during this virtual session.
I hope you're gaining insights from these sessions which we have collaborated for you. So you can visit our expo booth to find out about various partners we have and what kind of knowledge they want to share. And our next session will be starting in just a few minutes. So stay with us.